Hello. It's club call. Different time because we're going to the match. Fair enough. So, building up to tonight's Carabao Cup game against Burnley. If you're on your way to the game from outside of the Merseyside area, let us know. If you've got us on, let us know where you're at. If you want to give us a call, also, there's a link at the top of the description on Toffee TV Premier. Call in if you're watching the game. If you're watching the game, if you're overseas, if you're in America, how are you watching the game? We'd have to sneak a little screen while you're in work. Let us know. Let us know. And what are your predictions and what are your feelings and who should play in the side and who shouldn't play in the side and all those good things.
Questions.
And so many questions.
You are asking.
If you are sitting in a pub already preparing yourself for tonight's game,
which?
Let us know also. If you are wondering what coat to wear, Kane, let us know. Big decisions need to be made.
Hello.
Is it a big coat night? Is it a hoodie and a lighter jacket over the top?
Big coat and a bubble.
These decisions need to be made for tonight's game. What is it? What are the decisions? It's the first game of the season for the autumnal evening kickoff, isn't it?
Rain at 5 o'clock.
Rain at 5 o'clock.
But then allegedly there's no more rain for the night.
Considering you don't leave your house till about 7:15, then
that should be all right. The next time it's raining is half 10. Should just barring there's no extra penalties anyway. Let's hope it's done by then. We might get
there is penalties, there's no extra.
No, I know. I mean, let's hope even if it's penalties, let's hope it's done by 10:30 and we won't get absolutely drenched. 10 degrees. I'm just trying. Is that big coat? 10 degrees could be.
Decisions need to be made.
Interesting. Yeah. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. It's one for the ages.
These are the big decisions that need to be made when you get into October.
I've just seen one comment
November,
caught my eye straight away, and it is Mark, who is obviously is in Colombia. Mark Smith says, "Hola boys," or Everton all the way from Bogota.
He's right, Dad.
Mark is, I think, where he was when the time when we signed James and that. I think he was on the lookout for Everton shirts in Colombia.
Yeah, still haven't got them.
We still haven't got them.
Been a big container somewhere.
Jack is from St Helens and he's going again tonight. There you go. Smash the like button, says Peter, as though it was Antonio and your index finger is Jared Brantwaite. It's a great, brilliant analogy there. Adam rather. Adam says, can't believe the amount of changes some people are wanting to see in the starting 11. For me, the defence and midfield stay the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd make a couple of changes. 3 at the most.
Yeah, can't be any more than 3 really. Liam says he's watching from Sweden. He's just so lucky to have every league and league cup game on the same subscription. Liam's not having to worry about how to get it. So
and he lives in Sweden.
Exactly.
Which again, very lucky that he lives in Sweden.
Yeah.
Although, what are the temperatures in Sweden right now?
Need to freezing.
Could be
freezing Sweden.
They probably don't have dilemmas over big coats. They just
they just put big coats
on. And a reindeer's head.
A reindeer hat, it'd be that.
Yeah,
put a reindeer's head over here because that's taking it to the extreme, isn't it?
Well, Sweden.
What are you saying? Sweden often take it to the extreme.
Yeah. Modern words.
No, yeah, exactly. Classic. My wedding song, absolutely classic. Going full Henrik Larsson.
Yeah,
like that kind of extreme.
Yeah.
Fair play. Fair enough.
Liam says it's cold and wet. It's very much like here then.
Well, yeah, these
very much
could be describing Liverpool now. Cold and wet. R9 says it's Halloween's gone. It's Christmas.
No, you've still got Guy Fawkes night.
Have you?
Well, you have.
I know you have, but I mean.
So there you go.
I mean,
it's not Christmas till the 1st of December.
Driving down Cuckoo Lane, there's already 3 houses with the...
That's why it's called Cuckoo Lane.
Exactly, but they've already got the Christmas lights out. They're ready.
Do you know in Cuckoo Lane, do you think they live in each other's houses?
Possibly. No, the bird
reference there
is a bird joke.
It is a bird joke, that.
It is a bird joke.
Ned will react in about 2 minutes. What are you listening to?
What was the show?
Okay,
He's doing
an opera singer?
Yeah, he's doing a clip. Listen, shut up, Ned. The latest Inside the Game episode has just gone out with Michael Ball, former Everton, Manchester City, PSV, Glasgow Rangers, and England defender, of course. So make sure you check that out. And also, we're not far off the 10,000 on More Than a Game now. So go and subscribe. Do us a massive favour.
Hey, you.
Subscribe to the channel. It'll take you a sec. And it really helps the channel. And that. But check out the interview with Michael Ball. It's brilliant.
And it helps you as well.
It does. Help us, help you.
Yeah.
That's a logo. It's one there.
Is it a logo?
It's going on too. Well, if it isn't, it should be. So yeah, I'll put the link in the description now. So just hop over, subscribe and hop back. A lot of hopping. Like Hopper from Stranger Things, that kind of thing.
Sort of.
Got there quite quick, that one, didn't it?
It
doesn't normally reach St. Helens that quickly, does it?
Yeah. Classic.
There's the link in the description.
Classic.
Go and do it. Go and do it. Thank you very much. Boogle wants it to be unchanged, but just with Dan Juma in for McNeil.
That's not unchanged. That's a change.
Which one change?
It is.
I think Beto's going to start.
I think he might as well.
I think Dan Juma is going to start giving it large on his tweets and Insta and stuff. So I think he might have been given the Al nod.
Well, you'd like to think they'd know the team by now.
Well, not necessarily. Some managers don't name it until hour and a half before the game. So, but I imagine Everton and Sean has named it. Yeah. So there you go. What have we got to do tonight? Apart from win.
Just win. Get into them early. Get the crowd going. Get a goal up if you can, or just at least get make chances and keep the crowd. It'd be a obviously it's a cup game and it's sellout, isn't it? So it's a mixed bag. You have a lot of people who don't always get to the game and they're very excited to be there. Keep them energised and keep, as I said, keep knocking on the door. Don't let Burnley get an opportunity to get into the game, because they're a good passing side. So you don't want to but you want to use that like we did against Bournemouth. Take the ball off them high up the pitch, and as I said, whether it's Beto, whether it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dan Juma, whoever it is, hit the goalie, pepper the goalie.
See how you get on.
Yeah. I don't think you need to complicate it any more than that, do you? And I think that's what we did against Bournemouth, didn't we? We got through the game because we'd scored early-ish. It settled everyone down nicely. So we can do that again tonight. Cup opportunity to get into the quarters, opportunity to improve the home record ahead of, again, a tough game on Saturday, and just keep the momentum that we seem to have a little bit at the moment ticking over. Yeah,
absolutely. Everton have posted a image of Bill Kenwright's seat with an Everton scarf over it for tonight. And I expect, I know Sophie had put in, I hope everyone honours the tribute to Bill Kenwright. I'm sure they will, so I'm sure everybody will be respectful, because he deserves that. And then Everton hopefully can go out and do the job and get the job done, and then get a home tie against Port Vale, which is the dream. In a quarter final, isn't it? Absolutely the dream, but got to take care of this one first. And Burnley won't be any pushovers, and quite sure Vincent Kompany will make some changes for his team as well, for lads who are pushing to try to force their way into the team. And therefore, therefore they become dangerous, don't they? Because they are looking to put their mark down and show the manager that they deserve a go in the team regularly. That's what Everton obviously will have to contend with as well. So, we've got to be sure that we're ready and we go out and do the job properly, because too many times, I think, in our history in this competition, we haven't done ourselves justice. We haven't done things where we've had opportunities to go deeper in the competition. We've had opportunities to even at times we had opportunities to win the thing if we'd have took it more seriously, given the way it panned out, and we'd made too many changes and things fell away. And a lot of seasons, Everton had been very strong in the second half of the season.
Yeah,
like,
where we had opportunity.
They're just hung in there.
Yeah.
We might have had half a chance. Yeah. And we've gone out in these games. So Everton have absolutely got to make sure tonight that they go, don't leave anything out there. Go out, get the job done.
Absolutely.
See where
and also, if they do make changes, let's not just think that's a given, because Bournemouth made changes last year, and it
they battered us.
It doesn't mean you've got hungry players coming into the side who want to prove something.
Yeah.
And so let's not just think you've still got to go out and you've still got to go and you've got to do your job. Let's not also give Burnley as a football club any confidence.
Yeah.
Is within the Premier League? They might be thinking, we'll go to Goodison, get a result there, and then that sets us
kickstarts the season.
They went to Bournemouth themselves on Saturday, got beaten, and they'll be hurting from that. And let's not be the thing that sets them up. So we beat them tonight again. They're out the cup then, and we can get on with our season, and they can continue to be bad.
That's it, isn't it? We've just got to do what we do. We've got to try and get our momentum. Our home form has been a thing that has knackered Everton nearly this season. If we'd have beaten Fulham and Wolves like we should have done, and Luton, we'd be on 19 points now. People would be going, Everton in the race for Europe and all of that. Well, they wouldn't they, just by virtue of where they are? But that would have been, imagine being on 19 points now. You're already planning for next season.
I'd have my flip-flops on.
Exactly, So we've got to get our momentum going at Goodison so that we all start going to the home games, going, we'll beat these, and we're relaxed and we're more, everyone's behind the team and whatever. Because I think away under Sean Dyche, the level has been quite consistent. It's at home, it hasn't been. So tonight represents another opportunity. We won the last game 3-0. We were intense. We were on top of Bournemouth and the way it go. We've got to do exactly the same tonight. And we play Burnley again in a few weeks, really, in the league, don't we? So put a marker down for that. I know the next one's a Turf Moor, so put a marker down and be like, we are just better. And don't give them, like you said, start making it a chore for them. Every game is like, oh my God, we're up against these again. And don't give any encouragement to teams below you.
Yeah, and also establish or try and change the narrative to, instead of like people looking at us thinking, the one defeat away from being back down there, let's start turning the narrative so things do look positive, so people are talking about us a different way. I think that makes a massive difference. If people think it's all negativity at the football club, then other people will jump all over that and will create more negativity. If we can get positivity, we can start. People aren't looking at us. There's still obviously big things to come on the horizon. Whether it be 777 or the commission. If it's something what's going on the pitch makes a big difference. If you're doing well, if you're nowhere near the danger zone, if the story's somewhere else, instead of putting these stories out every single day about it, it does make a huge difference going forward. Positivity around the place, winning games. Okay, no one's saying we're going to be, winning every single week. But if it's finding this consistent form, week in, week out, then it makes a difference, huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I just seen someone saying would start Dobbin, Danjuma, Beto.
Not a chance. No, not a chance. No,
we can't be talking about trying to go far in or certainly trying to get momentum going and then start making too many of those changes. We've got to make sure that we are consistent with what we're doing, because that's how you build it. That's how you build that momentum. You can't keep dipping in and out. Yeah, by all means, if Everton could get the dream of being 2 or 3 goals ahead, then give Lewis Dobbin 25 minutes near the end. By all means, get Chimity on the pitch and things like that. But you've got to go out and treat Burnley with the utmost respect, go after them and try to put them to bed. And then you can then you can maybe give some other people some minutes in the legs or whatever, and give them that fill-up to keep training hard, to keep working hard, and to keep someone like Lewis Dobbin to keep his his football education going, really. But Everton, like you said before, we haven't been great in this cup, and therefore we have to make sure that we are having a good run this year. And like I said before, if we could get through and we got a home tie against Port Vale, then that would represent a brilliant chance for Everton.
That would represent good times.
Well, be a great opportunity to get to a semi-final of a major cup competition, wouldn't it? And again, more, another game at Goodison, more money, because that's what we have to look at as well. Every time we go further in a competition, it's money. We have to look at it that every penny counts with Everton.
Yeah.
And also it creates positive stories, it creates positive momentum. Players feel better about themselves, the fans feel better about the team, and you all start moving in an upward trajectory. And that's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we're hoping for anyway.
Absolutely.
See where we go from there. Let's have a look if there's any of the comments. What's going on the comments here? Brad says, afternoon lads, loads of talk of what changes to make tonight. Do you think it's a case of make changes with an eye on Saturday, or these lot are all Dyche fit and can handle a match load? No different than the December fixture congestion. Personally, I feel like these are there for the taking. Let's batter them in the first half, worry about resting plays in the second half. A 1-0 win is a win at home, but it isn't as big a confidence boost as we'd want. I think we'd all take a 1-0 win, wouldn't we? Because we'd be through, obviously. But if you're talking about getting players fitter, I still don't think you're making too many changes. You shouldn't be anyway. You shouldn't be. Maya says, open for a good win tonight. Shouldn't be underestimated just because it's Burnley, though. It's a big chance with the opportunity of a quarter-final. City are out the competition and a few big teams could follow tonight. There is a big opportunity and we should be going for it up the Toffees.
Absolutely. We should be going for it.
Cal says, which three are you changing then? Front three, bring in Beto, Danjuma and Dobbin. He puts in brackets, I wouldn't personally. Bring Garner back into the fold.
I don't know why anyone would bring Dobbin into the team.
No.
He's not a first team player. It just isn't. I know people want to see young players get an opportunity, but he's nowhere near the level. And if Timon had dictated, he would have gone out on loan. Sadly, he didn't.
I think Danjuma and Beto could come in for me, and should come in for me probably. Drisser for Decore, maybe.
I'd take James Garner out.
Or maybe James Garner, maybe. But I'd be, if it was just two, if it was Danjuma off the left and Beto through the middle and the rest were the same, I'd have no issue with that either. Don't want to make too many because it does disjoint you. You don't... in an ideal world, you go, we'll make 5 changes, and then 5 changes come in and you play the same way and you win, and then people are... It doesn't work like that. Remember going back to Koeman and Norwich, and they were poor, and they made 10 changes that night, and we made 8 or 9, and they beat us 2-0. And all right, we missed a host of chances, and Stephen Naismith scored, didn't he? But we missed a whole host of chances, and we got beat 2-0, and you were like, just gone out the cup when we had Norwich at home. We should have battered.
And we were on a good run.
And then we were on the second half of the season, we beat everybody, and we're flying. And you're like, if we had Lukaku, we'd have been in that cup competition late. Who knows what would have happened? And we just blew it because we took it lightly. You can't. Everton are good enough to take teams lightly. They're just not. Exactly. So, Jack A says, what do we have to do tonight? Don't play Michael Keane. Let Tarky and Jared continue to build this promising partnership. Yeah, he's got to resist the temptation to mess with the back four, hasn't he? Really, because if he starts messing with the back four,
just don't Michael Keane us.
If you mess with the back four, you're sending the wrong message out as well. I'm sure the lads can play another game tonight, then a game Saturday. Then they've got a week, haven't they, till Palace away, and then there's an international break. In December, we've got loads of games, so is the manager going to be rotating the team every few days? I don't think he would. Come the Premier League, he's not rotating, bringing 4 players in different games in the Premier League.
There'll be changes, obviously, in that period, but till we get to that point, let's try and keep we've got 3 games till the international break. Let's try and keep the starting 11 as consistent as possible. And that, obviously, tonight, you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. L14M5 says he was become a Premier member the other day, and honestly, the amount of content you get for such a little amount of money is insane.
It is insane.
It is insane, but thank you very much for becoming part of the Premier family. Becoming a Premier member, thank you very much. Cheers, mate. You've got to throw them in every now and again, haven't you?
Sorry, Ned just sent me something.
Has Ned sent you something? Fair play to him.
It's highly amusing.
Well, that's good. Listen,
look at how made them.
Ignore Ned for a minute. Do me a favour, dart over and subscribe to more than a game now, because I'm going to check now how many subscribers we've got now and at the end of the show. So it'll take you literally, the link's there, it'll take you 2 seconds. And a lot of you might have already done it. And I thank you for that.
Absolutely.
But
dive over there.
Go and do it for me now. It'll take you 2 seconds. Come on. Just do it. It is Alan Harper's 63rd birthday today, so happy birthday to Alan Harper, one of those tremendous players that we had in the 80s.
Very much so.
What a utility player he is. Could play anywhere, Alan Harper, and was brilliant in most positions, in all fairness. Where are we? Everton fan 123 says, do you think, Baz, we have a chance of winning the cup? Well, we do have a chance. I'm not saying we will, but we've got a chance, haven't we? But we'll have a better chance if we get through tonight, won't we? And that's how we have to take it. This cup has been horrible to Everton in its history. Absolutely awful. But there is some teams going out tonight. West Ham playing Arsenal, so there's a Premier League team gone there. Bournemouth and Liverpool, so there's a Premier League team gone there. Man United, Newcastle, another one gone there. Everton and Burnley. So if Everton could get through, there's some big clubs will go out tonight. You've got the opportunity to, like I said, especially if we got Port Vale or even Middlesbrough at home. Ipswich, Fulham. You fancy Ipswich to beat them.
Yeah.
So why not?
Ned, have you got that video of showing people how to subscribe to More Than a Game? Just put it on.
This one?
Yeah, this one, yeah. Go on. He's so happy with himself.
I don't even know what that was, but there you go.
You need to slow it down.
I'm glad it amuses you that you do things like that and the stuff I actually want you to do. You never get around to. But fair play to you, Ned. Fair play to you. Where are we? Just look. Stephen Lee, trying to bring the mood down. So it's just a quick question. If Everton get deducted 12 points, do you think Man City will wriggle out of it? Seems to me the Premier League trying to take us down with no repercussions on other clubs.
No, I don't know if they'll wriggle out of it. I think they'll, obviously, because of the amount of charges, they will keep them stringing along for a very long time. And hope that in that meantime, the rules change.
Well, that's what they're hoping
and they'll
for,
get away with it. Almost that there's too much to work through, and the Premier League and Independent Commission will be almost overworked by it all, sadly. So, yeah, it's and you've got the Chelsea one as well now, and different things, haven't you? It's yeah. I don't think we can keep talking about theirs, but I don't think they are. I don't imagine they are particularly worried about theirs. I don't think. Doesn't seem to be anyway.
No. I'm not having there's any universe that Everton get 12 points deducted, by the way. Any universe. I'll be amazed if Everton get any points deducted, like properly amazed. Because it's just nonsense. And especially when an independent regulator, which will happen, the Premier League are losing that battle, which is why they're trying to make an example of Everton to show that they're in control, and they're not, and no one believes they are. An independent regulator has said teams will never be deducted points, so Everton going to the NIAS rule. I do think there's a possibility Everton will get a suspended points deduction. And you know what? I wouldn't, if Everton were found guilty, then let's clarify this, Everton have to be found guilty of something. If they are, then I wouldn't be against a suspended points deduction. That said, if you do this again, because if If Everton were doing something, you have to play by those rules. But there is my issue with this. I've said this before, but my issue with this whole thing is Everton are in the bottom 3 for net spend over the last 5 years. They're 18th. Everton haven't really spent money. There's a narrative created by fans of other clubs and people who don't really look at what has happened. They just take some headline story and run with it. That Everton just spend tons of money every year on playing. The reality is we don't. The last time we spent money without bringing in an equal or more amount was summer 20, when we were still in a global pandemic. Everton in that time have sold players. They've been under the Premier League's eye, and the Premier League have forced sales of our players, which has damaged us as a football club. Like I said, there was a global pandemic. There's also been a war, Ukraine-Russia war, or Russia invade, going after Ukraine, which cost us big sponsorship money. And we've also, in that period, tried to build a stadium, which is for the benefit not only of our fans, but of opposition fans, and the benefit for the Premier League. Also putting money into the local economy, creating jobs as well. And we tried to do that, all while trying to stay competitive in the league in which we play, not being allowed to have money put into our football club by our owner because the Premier League's rules, which are allegedly put in place or was sold under the guise of it's to keep your football club safe from going under. But really what it is it just means it helps the teams who they want near the top to stay near the top. All of that rolled together, there is reasons why Everton have struggled to stay within those guidelines. But I think when you're building a brand new football stadium that incurs big costs, it should be treated as a totally separate case. If Everton was still spending like 300 million on players and not selling anyone in that period of time, and everyone's going, how are they buying 300 million pounds worth of players every year like Chelsea's done with the billion, then Everton would be banged to rights.
Yeah.
It's simply not the case. So no amount of sensationalist stories from Mathew in the Daily Mail, no amount of nonsense from people like Mark Goldbridge and other YouTubers who just get a headline and run with it and put it out there and try to peddle this image that Everton are paying 400 grand a week to players and spending $500 million every transfer window. All of that is just bollocks. It's absolute nonsense. Everton have spent money since Farhad Moshiri coming, and they've been crap at it. I wouldn't disagree with that. And they've been run poorly. I wouldn't disagree with that. But it isn't how it's being painted, and there is big circumstances that are involved in it. So to hit them then with a point deduction doesn't, to me, feels unfair, feels crazy. We'll see what the independent commission come out with. Everton are prepared to fight whatever the result is. They can appeal. And we'll see where we go with that. The Premier League have damaged themselves in this massively. A, by going after Everton the way they have, and B, by leaking information to journalists on what they want to happen. And by all accounts, the Independent Commission aren't happy with the Premier League. So we'll see. Hopefully, Everton have always maintained they'll defend their position robustly and all of that. Well, we'll see. But it's definitely, to me, not as it's being painted.
Don't know, do we? Because we don't.
No, but I just mean with those.
We don't know what we're up against, do we? So, so people are just speculating. They're just speculating, and the 12-point thing meant that it gave people a false narrative to go after us. Sadly, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, a few people want Danjuma, Beto and Guy in the side. Mr. Blue Skies wants Godfrey, Danjuma and Beto. And he wants Branthwaite, McNeil and Dom out for tonight. Ant says, go strong and play Beto and Dom up top and give the Corey a well-deserved rest ahead of Brighton.
Would be interesting.
R9 says he's got a feeling Danjuma will start on the right. And because he thinks Deitch will want McNeil on the left against his old club. Who knows?
Do those kind of things really come into football? Does Dyche seem like the emotional sort to want to play against his whole team?
Yeah, I think he'll just look at what fits the team best, doesn't it? And go with that, really. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about the core? Because we know he doesn't train all the time because they try to protect him, and he's done that quite well. Do you think it's an opportunity to give him a rest there or do you think he should start and just try to?
Does he need a rest? I don't know. I don't know if he needs a rest. If I'm honest, I think he's someone who seems fit, match fit all the time. So I don't know if it is. I think he's very pivotal to the way we play. So does the manager want to lose that, or does he? Or is this an opportunity to look at that and think, right? Well, if we lose him for the AFCON, we need to know what circumstances what things we can change around, who can play in that role.
Yeah,
one way to look at it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. Eugene says the Everton Stadium South Stand is going to be an amazing home end.
Yeah, I think so.
Looks good.
It's all coming together. A couple more pieces, and that'll be all done. That'll be all done then. And watch the video before. The North Stand the seats go all the way across now into both corners. The roof's practically done, bar just the joining bit onto the main bit. So there's so much happening all the time. They've started the mezzanine. The metal of the mezzanine's gone up today. So that structure, it's just seems to be work everywhere. It just seems
flying.
It just seems to be flying up all the time. Of course, the roof is the big thing now because that will get the bowl not watertight. Of course, it'll still have a big hole in it, but it'll get the covering for the seats, and that means the seats can go all the way. Because I think if the roof was done now, I think they'd get the seats done in about 3 weeks. It's going to be Easter, of course, because the roof it will take time to do the roof all the way around. It's like triple layered, isn't it? It's the bottom layer and then the insulation, soundproofing in the middle, and then the top layer on it. And obviously the sides are a lot longer than the behind the goal, so it's going to take longer. But everything's going up, everything's happening, isn't it, all at once, which is fantastic.
Alex Jones simply says ABK. Anyone but Keane.
I mean, he's got a point.
Bob the Blue says stick to the same 11 from the West Ham game. And also says Dom thrives on confidence and this is the chance for him to get a hat-trick.
Yeah, maybe so.
Everton fan says, 123 says, Baz, if Everton win tonight and if Everton win on Saturday and Chelsea lose to Spurs, we go above them. Chelsea are the biggest underperforming team in the Premier League in terms of expected points, so all the chances and everything they've created. Got no goal scorer, have they? And that's right. But Everton are up there with them. Everton should have 5, almost 6 points more than they've got, which would put them in the fight for Europe. If you want to look at it that thing, but Chelsea need a striker. Absolutely, they do. Dave Walker says next season ticket holder. I've not been at a game since we beat City 4-0. Going tonight with the family. Very excited. My 6-year-old daughter will get her first taste of it tonight. Brilliant. Let's hope we win. Yes, Ned.
Can you see him dropping the Corey and playing a back 5 at all, like we played at Villa?
No.
I'm not putting Keane in, really, because I have a feeling Keane will play.
If Keane plays, it'll be for Branthwaite or Tarkowski, won't it? I don't think they go to a back. Why would he play a back 5 at home in the cup? I can't. He might. Listen, you might do.
It might suit us more, won't it? If we set up like we did at Villa.
I don't
know.
But they're a counter-attack. Burnley aren't. Burnley will make. I don't know.
Like to get on the ball.
I honestly don't know. I don't know. He might do, but I think that's just overcomplicating stuff. That to me is just helping Burnley. You stick with what you've got and maybe take McNeil or Harrison out, say, whichever one you want to take out, and put Dan Juma in because you want to give him a chance. And Beto because you want him to get some game time and a bit more. Don't forget, Beto's come from Serie A. He hasn't played loads of minutes against Premier League opposition.
Playing Chimiti.
So he needs to be given an opportunity. And then you might look at resting, like Ped said, James Garner, or you might look at taking Decore out and putting a Drisser in. After that, you just seem to be messing with it for the sake of it, and that is never a good place to be. But you might be right, Ned. He might go to 3 at the back and play wing backs. I don't know. If he was going to do that, I'd rather he played 3-5-2 then and played Beto with Dom. had 2 wing backs and had 3 flat midfield players. That's what if he was gonna do that, have Patterson at right wing back and maybe Dwight McNeil at left wing.
McNeil as a wing back then, can't he?
But I don't know. I imagine Dan Juma will just play off the left, unless Dan Juma comes in off the striker in Decore's role because he feels like that might work. I don't know. We'll know in 2 hours, won't we? It's just under 3 hours to kick off, so we'll know in 2 hours what he's gone with, or it might, if it leaked a little bit earlier than that. Someone just said they think it'll just be a fine. Where was that one gone? Eugene thinks Everton will just get a fine. Big Kev says should employ a good legal team and say to the relevant bodies, when you've sorted City out, then you can come and look at Everton. Yeah. Elevate says the points have to be deducted before the start of the season, so it would be next season.
I don't think that's true.
But it won't pass the independent adjudicator.
I'm not sure that's true.
Pro Dreamer says the sponsorship loss must be taken into account due to it being out of our control. Should be, shouldn't it?
Well, COVID was obviously out of our control as well, so that's what Everton are trying to. It was a unprecedented event.
True.
And that's what Everton are trying to get out there, aren't they? And also, we don't forget, we were on the naughty step. We were sitting there with the Premier League watching over our shoulder, and we thought all this was going away because of that. And for them to pull it out, it does feel very tactical because they've got a few people having a go at them. And as I said yesterday, with Wolves were similar, but Wolves got the money in, and no one's really got kicked off about Wolves because they weren't within the points margin really of 3 to the 6 points of if they lost that going down. So
yeah, it is all a bit. It's just a big play, isn't it? That's all it is. Abigail says Reading with deducted points in January last year due to poor accounting, but Reading had been given a warning and a suspended sentence and then still broke it. That's why they were deducted. James is listening from Jersey. Force 11 wins hitting from Storm Cairn. Sandbags at the front door with Toffee TV on. Good luck.
The Sandbags have got Toffee TV on.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. We sell them now, apparently. We didn't know, but someone. A sandbag. Paul Nicholas, again, from, with Jan. Says, Baz, you're absolutely right about the net spend, but the issue is that we've spent a fortune on players that are and have not been good enough. You can only be measured on what you buy, not... No, I've said that. That's what I just said. But net spend is something where it proves you're not just spending money for the sake of it. My point was Everton haven't just been blowing 300 million every transfer window, and that's it. My point was everything we've spent, we've had to sell as well. It was more about our spending. Yeah, absolutely. I remember when Walter Smith had been here and someone told me he left with a negative thing of $500,000. They still spent 58 million, Walter Smith, as Everton manager at that time, which was a lot of money, and Everton was still terrible. So it's why I never ever had it from Liverpool fans. Our net spend, we don't spend any money because our net spend's 12 million. Like, you've spent a hell of a lot of money. You've got great fees back in. Liverpool, the first club to spend over £1 billion without winning the Premier League, so they spent a lot of money, but they do sell well. Other clubs do the same. My point being with the net spend was just to demonstrate to other clubs
FFP.
That we don't just blow money everywhere each year. We haven't been able to. So wasn't defending.
It's balancing the books, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Abigail says, think we might get a deferred transfer ban. Possibly.
No, I think we would get a transfer ban. I don't think it would be deferred. I can see the three.
We'd have to be guilty first.
I think the 3 punishments will be points deduction, transfer ban, or suspended points deduction. I think it'd be one of those 3, personally.
Paul Nicholas says FFP should be totally scrapped and replaced with you can only have 25 players you can't buy to loan out. That would make a big difference. A wage cap of 75 grand a week would also help.
No, I
absolutely.
I'd have a financial cap. I don't think it wouldn't be a wage cap because I don't think you can stop players earning money because they just leave and go to other countries. But I do believe that football, the FFP just doesn't work because it is pulling up. It's the ladder behind you. That's all it is. Now, it's all it is. It doesn't really benefit anyone but 3 or 4 clubs to stop Manchester United and potentially Newcastle running away. It's a leash.
City.
It keeps them on City on a leash and it'll keep Newcastle on a leash. That's all it's for. It doesn't do anything else.
No.
Bar that. So, because the teams who've got money who are in the Champions League will always be the teams who've got money and be in the Champions League. They've basically stopped that now. You can't earn money. Leicester City winning the Premier League did not suddenly make them. You know,
they got one hit off it.
Went into the Champions League.
And they had to sustain it.
And it didn't suddenly mean that they were going. You have to be able to do that every year. The only way to do that is have money that comes in from the outside and build at the same time a merchandise department and commercial department that's suddenly bringing in millions and millions and millions. That just doesn't happen with one quick hit. And as I said, that's been proved with Leicester. It has to be something that is sustainable, and with FFP, it just can't be sustained. So it just keeps the natural order and punishes everybody else. And as I said, the only people it really benefits are the likes of Liverpool and teams like them who can't finance what City have got. As I said, and if they do everything well, they'll win trophies, of course, but then Liverpool are a huge football club with huge commercial deals. So, yeah, you'll get your Brightons and you'll get your Brentfords. But in the old days, the sky was the limit for those clubs. It just isn't anymore. That's why they should be celebrating European football. And, of course, with the Premier League going to 5th places for the Champions League, which isn't for every single year, of course. It's the 2 countries that have done the best in European countries. So, but the richer the Premier League gets, and that'll get richer if it's got 5 Premier League teams in the Champions League, then the more that just keeps on going round and round. If you've got an extra team in the Champions League, you've got a couple more fighting to get in. It's just going to keep the Premier League spinning and spinning and spinning, and it's just... As I said, everyone else will be feeding off scraps. Yeah. If they do things right, they'll be wealthy. They'll be wealthy. That's why you've got the Crystal Palaces of the world. Doing what they're doing.
You can build a team though, but you've got to do things.
You can't build a team that is going to sustain the level, because the problem is every time you build a team, you've got to be perfect every time you rebuild the team. And that's the problem, and that just doesn't exist. That perfect method is not going to.
But Man United are the most one of the wealthiest clubs in the world, and they don't do anything. So it can be.
They don't have to do anything. They don't have to.
No, but they don't get in the Champions League every year, and they don't win stuff.
But they have a commercial department.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's not. It doesn't mean it's definite because you've got those things. It makes it easier, of course it does, but. It is difficult, you're right.
No, but what the point being is Manchester United can make huge mistakes and get away with it. Everybody else can't. Nobody else can make those mistakes. They can because they're a juggernaut. But nobody else can make those mistakes.
Jack Ace says, without getting carried away, because the full picture is we've won 3 games in 10 in the league. But should we win tonight, that would be 5 wins in 7. He's put Pinch's self in brackets. Would you take that as we're actually turning a corner? Well, definitely improving, wouldn't it?
We're getting to find the consistency of performance, aren't we? But yeah, a win tonight would be massive. Get us into the quarterfinals, and then Saturday get a good result against a decent team would once again give us that. And you've got to get to those level of performances where you're sitting there going, we're playing the same way every week. and it's just this team are better than us. But if you don't get to those level of performances, then you're never going to get that opportunity to beat anyone. Where you say we were at our best today and they fell under that, and the problem is that if you don't get to what your level is, consistency, and someone falls under, like Liverpool last week, we weren't playing at our best, and neither were they, and they still win the game. Whereas maybe if we were playing at our best, we pushed them a little bit harder. So we have to be consistently playing at our best.
Jake says absolutely would not be touching that back four for the rest of the season. Joe, someone will get in touch with you, mate, about your Premier discount. Dick L says, hoping the lads can get a result tonight and get us into the quarters. I think he has to make a couple of changes. Beto would make sense, Danjuma possibly, and part of me wants to see Virginia given a start. I worry we don't involve him enough, and if we ever need him in the Premier League, he'd be too raw. Onyango or Hunt off the bench would be nice.
No thanks.
Patrick says wouldn't be surprised rather to see both wingers drop to the bench. They were shot the other day. Young, possibly right midfielder, Eder Patterson and Danjuma on the left. Beto in for Dom and Guy in for a midfielder. But I imagine 4 to 5 changes will be the maximum. That's still too much for me, Pat, but we'll see. Paz says, whenever we are expected to win and have some confidence going into a game, we lose. The streak we need to overcome, win when we have some expectation. Yeah, that's the next thing that needs ticking, isn't it? Dick L says, if we have posted a loss of over 300 million for the last 3 years, when we're only allowed to post 100 million, then we've broken the rules. I have no problem being found guilty or accepting a punishment, but the 12-point deduction is unprecedented. It will be first handed out for FFP. We need a punishment that is fair and along the lines of what other clubs have received. A fine or a transfer ban would be appropriate. I think that's most people's view, Dick. If we are found guilty, then it has to be proportionate to. You can't just start going 12 points. It's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. We've got to call it, Pedro.
Oh, okay.
Got to call it.
Quickly. Yes.
Bear with.
Can't hear nothing, Ned.
No, can't hear anyone, Ned.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, lads. How you doing? You're right.
Not too bad. Go on.
Yeah, apologies for last week. I was supposed to call you last week. Something came up, and I couldn't get. Yeah, no, that old chestnut, that kind of thing. I'm my first time caller.
Good man.
Yeah, I guess I should probably tell you why I signed up. Actually, this might give you a bit of a laugh, but I suppose it would have been a couple of months ago now, and I honestly saw like the pain in Baz's face about how Everton were going. Do you know what I mean? It was bad. We were winless. Nothing was going right.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've got to make a contribution here to try and get, you know what I mean? And so my question to you guys is like, what is your disconnect from the frustrating life of being an Everton supporter? What do you do? What's your thingy?
I don't know. I find it really difficult to disconnect, to be honest with you. I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to go home and not give it a second thought. Certainly till we're back in here. But doing this, you can't really do that anyway, because you're always looking at other stuff, things you need to be doing. But I would love to switch off. I'd love to not let it affect me as much. And I'm really, really trying to work on that, to be able to go, right, that's happened. I'm just going to do this or that. Probably play me PlayStation, maybe, to take my mind off it a bit. But I'll be honest, I do struggle a little bit with it. Unless I go away. If I go away, have a little break or whatever, get away for a few days, that makes it easier. But I don't think you ever fully, well, I don't fully disconnect from it.
Right.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't find it that hard to disconnect from it at this time of year. I don't think it's we've got to the stage yet where you're really sort of starting to worry about things. I think it's still in the infancy of the season. I still worry, but I think I don't find it as hard. It's not like it keeps me up at night, but just general things like what probably everyone else does. Sticks on a film or gets stuck into a box set or something like that, and going obviously into me running at the moment, and that helps as well. I'll shove on a podcast about something completely unfootball related, or football general, which they never talk about Everton, obviously. So and do it that way, and then I start thinking about those other things rather than Everton, and obviously. Because as I said, I think just at this time, I'm not overly worried about Everton right at the moment. I'm a little bit worried about the commission and the 777 thing, but they'll sort themselves out, I suppose. And whatever happens, we have to deal with when they come. But I'm not really worried about tonight as such. Not preempting anything. Just gonna go and try and enjoy the game, and the same on Saturday, and then. And then obviously Palace the week after, and then I do enjoy international breaks. I must admit, I do enjoy just the freedom from it, the all-consuming football that we all seem to get battered over the head with now. Not just Everton, but football's just everywhere for constantly, and it's nice to just switch off. I think now and again from it all. So, but that's pretty much it. Same as everyone else, just having those distractions.
It just seems that life as like an Everton supporter is just one of the most frustrating things. I mean, you've even got a verb for it, like do an Everton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do an Everton is kind of we all need some kind of like disconnect from this kind of situation, because if it doesn't rain, it pours with Everton, right?
Yeah.
There's always something going on,
and it's horrible because Everton or football or sport in general should be the disconnect from life, shouldn't it?
Right.
That should be that's what you should enjoy. And that's why it's been difficult for the last couple of years, is because Everton have suddenly become the main thing in a lot of people's lives, and that's not fair, really, because it's been tough the last 3 or 4 years for everybody, and it remains so. And Everton should be the thing you look for. And I know this, by the way, a lot of people still really enjoy and really look forward to going to games, and that's what we all want. We want that thing of, we're going to match, and if we win, it's fantastic. If we lose, we're down. But then we're on to the next one. As we've said many times, because in the last few years, football, the seasons have just felt continuous. You don't feel like you're getting away from it. You don't feel like in the summer you can have a little refresh. It's this story and that story. Hopefully that's coming to an end. Hopefully this commission is the end of... And if things go our way and it is the end of that thing, and then the ownership situation again, it's the start of something new. And hopefully if that goes all right, and it's just they're just normal people and they're not going to do terrible things to our football club, then we can just... life will get a bit quieter, and the new stadium opening next year will give everyone that little bit of bounce that they've all needed, and we grow from being where we are now to a mid-table team, and then maybe on from there. As I said just previously, I'm not expecting Everton to go out and get to reach world domination, but I don't think any of us are thinking that anyway. I think we just want to get back to being a good side that you can enjoy going to watch on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it is.
I just want to sort of like get back to the time where we'd actually just talk about footy.
Yeah.
Talk about the game. Do you know what I mean? It's that, I've just noticed, especially with all this business thing going on recently, is that we're just spending too much time talking about like the business side of it, and the owners,
absolutely.
and I don't like to go down that route when it comes to like talking. I want to talk about the match, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which brings me on to the game. If let me know if you're going to chuck me off, by the way.
No, go on.
But the game. So that was. It wasn't the best of games. I think we're going to have differing opinions here on the players in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few that I wanted to speak about in particular, and I want to talk about Branthwaite first, if that's all right.
Go on.
He's a player, isn't he? This nipper. We got it from Carlisle. Was that right?
Yeah.
And we got him dirt cheap, didn't we?
£1
quid. Yeah.
How much was it?
$1 million. There are add-ons and stuff, but £1 million quid. £1 million quid.
I mean, this is the model that we got to be doing. We got to go and find little rough diamonds like that, and take that chance. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like spending this ridiculous money.
Yeah.
So whoever scouted him, get him going out a bit more.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what do you think about Branthwaite? Because I think he's going to be good, isn't he?
I think he is good. I think he's proven that this season. I think he's developing all the time, and it'll be hard to sort of keep him under wraps now, because a lot of people were watching him anyway. A lot of people were almost hoping Everton slept on this lad and almost just went, we can't afford to keep him, or we don't want him. But luckily the manager's put him in the side and he's developing all the time, and just gotta let him get on with it. And again, if we can find that level where you can just let him get on with it, because we are for the most part anyway, but I'm sure he'll still have his ups and downs, confidence and different things. But I think we've always really liked him and thought he had a big opportunity. So it's just a case now of letting him play, letting him develop, creating that partnership, and moving forward with that. And listen, whatever happens. He's just signed a new contract, so that's really good. But of course, he looks a really good prospect, and other people will be looking at him. Let's not be too worried about that. Let's enjoy him. Let's enjoy the player. That's a lot easier if you're in a nice position. You've got nice play. That's something that's, I suppose, which was what was the most frustrating part of having the likes of John Stones, Romelu Lukaku, and Ross Barkley was. When we had them, we were a team that was struggling for at least 2 of the 3 seasons. They were in and around the team, and it took the shine off that. You want to, when John Stones was doing all his little bits and pieces, his cross turns and all that, you want to be able to go on, mate, you do that, because we're fine, but we weren't. We were struggling a little bit. So it was hard at times to really enjoy that. So let's get to a level where hopefully we can enjoy Branthwaite playing week in and week out, and the same with someone like Onana as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope, he can just go out and play, like say, and learn the game. It's sometimes a bit disappointing when you hear about him being linked with other teams already when he's barely even started. Do you know what I mean? But I guess that's just the nature of the game.
Yeah, that is, of course it is. Yeah, that is. Everyone wants the next big thing, don't they? So
yeah, he's going to be an interesting one to watch, isn't he? The rest of the season, next season, I think he's only going to get better, isn't he? I like
absolutely,
him. He's really
absolutely.
Good.
No, I hope he is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the game, what did you think about the game the other day? Because what else did I notice about it? I know that Ped's got like strong views, and what we all do about Dwight McNeil and his lack of what's the word?
A right foot.
Yeah.
A right foot.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to be
no, but it's not just Dwight McNeil. It's all footballers, mate.
Yeah,
I just think
hate yours, Johnny.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous every day. Get yourself a ball, get yourself a wall, get yourself whoever, and just get out there and make that foot stronger. And
it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's unbelievable how they just don't even naturally do it when they're on that pitch, training pitch day in day out. It kind of blows my mind.
Yeah,
but
it is.
What I will say.
Go on.
What I will say. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go on.
What I will say is that about McNeil, he is like that. But I tell you what, he puts a shift in. He does.
Massive.
He's hard worker.
He's a hard worker. Yeah.
And essentially, as Evertonians, that's kind of like what we're fundamentally about. If you don't have to be the most talented person in the world, but if you put the graft in, you're kind of you're going to get a certain level of respect from Evertonians, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
No, of course you are. Of course you are. And the first few months of when McNeil was here, he just didn't look like any kind of player. But he's got stuck in. And what hard work brings is reward. And reward, whether it be goals or assists or whatever else, confidence grows. And it certainly has with him. And now, I don't think he was particularly good on Sunday, but his defensive numbers were good. Numbers were good. So you can at least say, well, he done his defensive duties. But he gets away with not having a brilliant attacking performance, because everyone goes, well, actually, We know what his sort of level is now, and at least he puts the hard work in. What the challenge to him is right now is, can he get the goals that he got last season? Was last season a complete one-off, or can he find that consistency now going forward and get those goals?
How many did he get last season? Can you remind me?
7.
7 goals.
7, okay.
And most of them were in the second half of the season when he had
Yeah,
Dyche.
that's right. That's right.
That's his next challenge, isn't it? His next challenge is to get to that level.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is the bit where I think we're gonna maybe like disagree a little bit. It's about Onana.
Okay, go on.
So I think you two you're quite big fans of his, aren't you? Baz?
Yeah, I think we both are, aren't we?
Yeah, I think he's very good, mate. I think he's if you leave him in the position he's in right now, which is his best position, I think he's very, very good, and will have a lot of shooters, and will be one of those players when he plays higher, people will realise how good he was.
There's something about him. It's that I watch him and I think he's doing okay. He's doing a job. But there's something in me that just thinks he could be doing so much more. I feel like he's got the talent to sort of do more. I mean, I think it was his debut. I can't remember what it was against, when he was like dancing in and around the box and he did a little run to set someone up. I can't remember who it was, but since then, it's just he's become an okay player. That's how I see it. But do you think there's more in him?
I think there is. I think it's whatever job he's been asked to do, and he's a number 6. He's been asked to play in the number 6 role, and I think it's whether we've had this before, where we've had number 6s who don't play properly number 6, and what that does is leaves that big hole in front of the back 4. And I think if he's playing number 6, you want him to sit in front of the back 4, do his defensive duties, keep the ball alive, not misplace passes. And yet, is there more in there? Possibly so. We've said this often about Adesina Gay. Sometimes his role has been very defensive, but then he's gone and played for Senegal, and almost at times he plays as a number 10. But it's what you want from the player, isn't it? Don't get me wrong. There's been earlier this season when he wasn't playing the number 6, and I said lots of times I didn't think he was doing enough. But I think since he's gone back in the number 6 role, I think now that his role's been made, it's very.
That's it for him now, is it? That's it. That's 6. He's going to nail that position, you reckon?
I think till he gets in a team where he's genuinely playing with much better players and there's a fluidity about it, I think I'd rather have that consistency for us rather than them almost going missing at times. Again, he's young. He's a young player, and I think he's making his mistakes in front of us. So I'd rather he found a level of consistency for me at the moment. And you could say this about a lot of players, like the likes of Michalenko, and there's other players. I want them just to be consistent. And then if there's a level of consistency that we're seeing week in and week out, Patterson's the next one. He has to find that level of consistency. I'd rather see some of these players have that level of consistency that takes the team up, rather than like 1 week they're amazing, then the next week you're like, oh, he was rubbish this week. I want them to find that 7 out of 10 level, and then maybe we move on from that, because they are, as I said, a lot of them are young players, and we do tend to forget that. As I forget that a lot of the time. The young lads taken out of some of them out of their countries, and put into a situation where we expect everything from them, and it's not always there to give, I think. So let's get 7 out of 10s week in, week out, and then maybe move on from that level.
And I think over the last few weeks, we're kind of getting towards that mark as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like I say, I was saying before about putting the effort in, putting a bit of graft in, and just by that alone, you're going to be getting closer to the 7, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just by putting the effort in. And that's the one thing I noticed about the game the other night. Everyone was putting in a bit of a shift. Okay, great. There wasn't a lot of flashy bits. Maybe like some of the passing was like loose. I mean, it kind of always has been, really. But in terms of effort, I really sort of like saw something there. It did remind me a little bit of a Moisey-like team. There was a bit of fight and a bit of battle in them. Like going back to Onana though, it's like, and this is a bit of a weird one, but we paid, I think it was 30 million for him, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sort of thinking that if I was in another team, a manager for another team, Would I pay more than that for him now? This is the question I'm asking. Is I don't think as a coach or team that I'd want to pay more than that for him. What do you reckon?
Then you wouldn't get him. It's that simple.
Yeah, no, but we're getting, but you know what I mean? Like, is he worth that? Is he worth more than 30 million? Right.
Well, if you look at other players going for 40 and 50 million, then absolutely he's worth more than that. So it depends what your expectations are from him. I think if you're a top team looking at someone like Amadou Onana, he's 21, 6'5". The ceiling is very, very high, and you put him in a team that has got other good players in it, then he's easily 65, 70 million, especially if he carries on doing what he's doing right now. If no one wants to pay 65, 70 million, then he stays at Everton.
Yeah.
And of it, that's just the way it is. Moises Caicedo wasn't worth 110 million. I watched him at the weekend. He's decent. He's not a £110 million player, but the Atu Lavia wasn't worth what did they play 60 million?
Yeah.
You know, that average decent season maybe for Southampton, bought for 10, 12 million and sold for 60. So Amadou Onana, he's in. Look at Dominic Tedesco, plays him at Belgium, who's a really good manager, and he's in the Belgium side with good players, and he loves him, and Martinez loves him. A lot of people are saying he's in, the top 20 players under 21 and under in Europe, possibly the world and all of that. I don't know whether I'd go that high on him, but he's got a big, big ceiling, and I think big clubs with money would look at that as 60, 70 million is not an issue.
And there's a Euros at the end of the summer, isn't it? At the season, sorry. So big opportunity again for him to take himself to that next level, playing for Belgium. He plays week in and week, month in and month out for them. So again, I think he's finally sort of finding his feet and putting 3, 4, 5 games together consistently wise, and that's all I'm hoping for. Just keep that consistency.
Yeah, I guess for me personally, the jury's still out on him a little bit.
Fair play.
Yeah, I'm still not quite sure. Of course, I hope he proves me wrong. Absolutely, I think there's he's got the attributes there. Like you say, still young, still developing. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one goes. And quite ironically, is that he's keeping like Garner out the team, right? Yeah. And the weird thing was, if you went back 6 weeks ago, our team would have been nothing without Garner, right?
Yeah. That's football, isn't it? That's how it evolves very quickly.
Yeah. So it's quite weird. Of all the players to not be in the team, I think if you'd asked me a month or so ago, I would never have said Garner. I would have said we need him to sort of keep going. How do you see his future then, Garner?
I think he'll probably be. I think he'll probably leave at the end of the year, but
really,
yeah, I think he probably will. But maybe, I don't know. I just, it depends how much of a drain he is financially on the club.
Is he on big bucks, is he?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. I could just see him if he finds himself out of the team at the end of the season. I could see him. And there's youth. It just depends on the other things that happen. If Onana leaves, then maybe Everton will try different things. But I think just for him to be at the club for a couple of years, I think it depends what he wants to do next. Does he see? He might get a big flashy offer from Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that. Who knows? It's hard to tell. Everton have got a very small squad. They'll be trying to keep as many players together as they can, but obviously they've got to make those decisions, haven't they? Is it worth keeping them? If an offer, if he gets offers from elsewhere and stuff like that.
He'll get back in the side. It's not like that's it. He's done for the season. He'll get back in. No question about it.
I don't think he'll be consistent, though. I don't think he'll be consistently in the side.
No, but he shouldn't be now, should he? And because that's the real thing for us now, is to make sure he isn't consistent.
That's the point. That's what I'm saying. I think for someone like that, it might be a case of keeping his place for what at this stage of his career he'll be wanting playing week in and week out. And if he's seen that not happen, I think he might think it's better to go elsewhere.
He could well get, like you just said, he could well end up with an offer from somewhere like Saudi Arabia. And Everton might go, you know what, he's done a great job for us for 2 years. but he's on good wages. Saudi won him.
Well, he's out of contract at the end of the year.
And he's out of contract anyway, so I don't think Everton have been renewing it as such. So we'll see. But I still think he'll defo have a role to play this season.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Is he going to be sort of one of those players now that comes in maybe for the cups, or if there's an injury? He seems like he's becoming that kind of player now, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to have to go because we're going the match. So nice one for calling, Sharpie.
Yeah, lovely, mate.
Thanks, mate.
See you soon.
See you soon.
All
Bye,
right,
mate.
cheers,
Bye, mate.
cheers, Sharpie.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
We got a caller right at the end. Right at the end. Right, we're going to.
It's match time.
It is a match. It kicks off at 7:45. So Ned, that'll give Ned enough time to put his makeup on, his dancing shoes, and
get a steak pie.
Okay,
He wants a steak
there you
pie.
go. Right.
Right.
See you later.
Subscribe. See you later.